Hi, welcome to Blacticulate, a podcast series featuring UK young black professionals, where we find out how they do what they do, so you can too. Or not. After all, it is your life.
Hey guys, once again, welcome to another episode of Blacticulate. As always, we are very grateful that you've taken the time out of your day, since you could be doing literally anything else, to listen to us. So we hope you get value from it. And if you don't, please get in touch. Make us accountable, because we do want to create better content, so it's valuable towards you. For those of you who've never come across Blacticulate and this is the first time you're hearing of it, well, Blacticulate is simply a podcast series that features UK young black professionals, where we try to find out exactly how they do what they do, so you can too. And in this instance, we have Efe Jerome, who is the founder of ShoutOut Network, a podcast network for underrepresented voices. And we have Efe, who's going to tell us the origin story of ShoutOut Network, but also specifically tell us how he's created an event, which I highly recommend everyone who has the opportunity to do so to go to. Back to our guest. He's amazing. He does give us as much advice as he can. And if you guys, once again, are looking to try and set up your own media platform or podcast network for that matter, this is a great episode to listen to. And also, if you're looking at how best to go about putting on a festival, this is also a really good episode to listen to. And before we forget, please do rate, please do comment, please do like this episode or any other episode, because it really does help. You guys are the best. So without further ado, we bring to you Efe Jerome.
Yeah,
Thank you for giving me full autonomy on how to do my show. Appreciate that.
It's kind of, it's actually kind of hard for me not to dictate.
Yeah, being a producer as well as doing everything. All right, guys. So before we introduce who that voice is that you hear, welcome to another episode of Blacticulate. For those of you who don't know what Blacticulate is, it really truly is a podcast series that features UK young black professionals, where we try and find out how they do exactly what it is they do, so you can too. And the voice you heard just a little moment ago is Efe. He's a really good friend of mine within the last 2 years, I'd say, certainly. But Efe, tell our listeners who you are and we'll take it from there.
Wagwan.
Wagwan.
What do you want to know?
Give you an introduction of who you are, man. You can't just say, what do I want to know? We'll take it from there. Who are you?
Oh, man, I'm just the guy. I'm just the guy behind the scene, man.
Behind what scene?
Just to be behind the,
No, I don't know.
You know what I mean? I'm just that guy that behind ShoutOut Network, innit? That makes sure all their stuff goes out, innit?
Assuming I've met you in an event.
Yeah.
Right. So if you were to give me your business card, it would say?
I'll say I run ShoutOut Network.
There you go.
And I'm the founder.
You're the founder of ShoutOut Network.
Yeah, I'm the founder of ShoutOut. It was my idea.
Amazing. Tell us about ShoutOut Network.
I started listening to podcasts from about 6 years ago. One of the things that I did actually enjoy from listening to podcasts is it changed my perceptions on a lot of things. Things that I would necessarily think that, oh no, man won't do this, man won't do that. I got re-educated on a lot of things socially, that I had certain biases too. So that's just from listening to podcasts. And I was thinking, wow, what this can do for young people as well, to allow people to actually have their voices, telling their own stories and so forth.
Yeah,
and
I get that. For those of you who didn't pick that up from what Efe was trying to say,
I'm a waffler though.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'll try and bring you in. Trust me, I'll try and
I'm a bit
back
wacky.
to the path. But ShoutOut Network is first and foremost a podcast network.
Yeah,
in its truest of sense. But it's specifically for people of color, so podcast creators who are people of color, or is that not a thing?
I would say it's more or less for underrepresented voices. People that are actually underrepresented are people of color. But one of the things is people of color they push culture forward a lot, as in popular culture. For me, growing up in London, I wasn't exposed to so many different things, as in growing up representations.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Elephant.
Elephant Castle. So you South
Elephant Peckham, innit? Men's for Peck now.
Yeah, okay. No.
Do you know what I mean? You know? But yeah, like obviously, with me, I wasn't from growing up. It's like a few things that you can actually see yourself in. It's like I can either see myself as maybe a footballer or maybe drug dealer doing crime, or really it's nothing. There's not a variety of things that you can see yourself doing.
But you growing up with like you have brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I got brothers, but my brothers are not here in this country.
Right.
But my sister is here.
Because this is something I've always been arguing with myself with, especially of late, is yes, I get the one hand, but I look at my brothers, I look at my sisters, I look at my family, and they're all killing it in different verticals. So my nucleus, they aren't footballers or, entertainers or criminals. In fact, far from it. They are very positive members of society. But anyway, I digress. I get it though.
For me,
but I'm just curious, is that true? Or your brothers, sisters?
I think it is. I think it's not just on my brothers and sisters. Like it goes even further than that, because in media alone, you can't get away from it. It's like, as much as it is that you say you see your brothers, because these are the people that are closest to you. Yeah, they are going to be, some people are doing some good things, but not necessarily going to follow in the same footsteps as them, because you might want to do your own thing, or you might, like, say, for instance, if you have a brother as a doctor, doesn't mean that you want to be a doctor. Maybe you actually just want to go and do, like, say,
graphic designer. Yeah,
if you had something like you wanted to be a graphic designer, there is no graphic designer in your family.
Yeah.
Then in media wise, who can you see and emulate that to as a black boy growing up? There's not a lot, do you know what I'm saying? Whereas I would say, like, for more white people, there's so much representation for themselves. When I first came to this country,
when was that and where from?
I came from Nigeria. Well, I'm from Nigeria, innit? I was born in Nigeria.
Efe,
you know what I mean?
What's your surname?
I'm not Efe Jerome Obo.
Yeah.
I'm not Yoruba.
Okay.
I'm not Igbo. I'm not
Awusa.
I'm not Awusa. I'm not Shekiri. I'm none of those tribes. I am an original Yoruba man.
Yoruba.
Yoruba Wayo.
Okay. If you've got anyone out there, shout out.
Yeah.
Hit him up. I think you guys are rarities, like unicorns.
Listen, there's a lot of us Orobos out here, man.
Is it?
We're here, man. Trust me.
Talk about underrepresented voices.
Get me, though. That's what I'm trying to say, man. Trust me. We're trying to become the majority here.
I hear that.
But
sorry.
But as I was saying, when I first came to this country, first person I saw I could see myself in was like Ronke Phillips, the news reader. Yeah, the news anchor. And when I saw her name Ronke, I knew immediately she was Nigerian. Yeah. Because with a name like that, you can't just come. Oh,
you don't go from Hampshire.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I was like, I got gassed watching her, and I always used to watch the news because of her. Because she was on it.
Amazing.
Because that's who I can relate to. Do you know what I'm saying? Because this is the things, like, once as a kid you see things you can relate to, then you're going to aspire to those things.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Because but the thing is, as growing up, like in the 90s, wasn't that great, but it was good. But then after the 90s, he was just non-existent.
Insofar as people of color, or just diverse representation.
Yeah, just like diverse representation of people of color, and like there was just nothing at all.
Right.
Like in the 90s, you had things like Desmond, Real McCoy, Pork Pie. Do you know what I mean? And then you had like so many different types of shows, like Black British shows. But then after that, like literally was trouble. Okay. But what was on trouble? The American shows. So
right. Okay, so I'm with you. I hope you guys as well, listeners, can actually pretty much. I feel like I'm in a bedroom and I'm talking really sleepy. Yeah. I'm using Effie's actual equipment, because this is where his podcasts do their recordings. In fact, should we name drop them whilst we can?
What's that?
Like the podcast you have on your networks?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if you can do it.
So I believe you have Two Fools Talking.
Yeah.
You have Melanin Millennials.
Wow, cool. You didn't twist your tongue on what I say that one.
No, trust me, this one. I had to do it when I was interviewing Imri. I was like, boy, let me practice that. You've got Mostly Lit.
Yeah, they're killing it.
You've got Unarchived History.
Yeah.
And last but not least, something to do with the arts and theatre. And I forget.
Artistic State of Mind. Yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, forgive me, guys. I'm not going to go into details on what each of those podcasts are like and what the genres are, but do check them out when you can. In fact, the greatest thing about audio is that you can do things simultaneously. So check out the ShoutOut Network.com.
No, .co.uk.
What happened to .com? Just couldn't afford that.
No. Someone already had it in it. You know what I mean? But I had to get permission though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do things properly, man.
Yeah,
so they
for
can
sure.
never come back and try and wherever it is.
Oh, but are they still keeping hold of that?
They're
domain?
keeping hold of the .com, but they don't use it.
Shame on them. They're trying to make sure you really blow. And they charge you big bucks for it.
No, I wouldn't. You know what I mean?
You wouldn't pay for it?
I'm Nigerian.
Of course you are.
I'll say, you stay there.
Okay, so awesome. So was this the dream?
I would say we're still in phase 1 because
not what's your dream, as in I'm thinking from you coming all the way from Niger.
I didn't want to come here. I was having a ball in Nigeria.
Right.
I was loving it. When my dad told.
How old were you when you came?
I came when I was 9.
Okay.
And
how were you having a ball at 9? What were you doing?
I was the guy when I was in Nigeria.
Whips.
No, do you know what? No, because when I was in Nigeria, it's like I was having so much fun.
Right.
When I came here, the fun stopped.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you were prepubescent. You know, you didn't have a worry in the world.
Yeah, I didn't have do you know what? Yeah, I didn't have a worry in the world. It's like when my dad said that we're coming over, my teachers were like, "Oh, you're going to London?" I'm like, "Where?" I'm just thinking that when am I going to go and see my grandma in the village? Because like every half term or so, I was going to see my grandma in the village, and that's when I had the best times.
Okay, yeah.
Like in the village was the best times that I had. Do you know what I mean? I can still remember it now, you know. But came here and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
So it was you, your
my
dad, your sister.
Yeah.
Is your sister older or younger?
She's older. I'm the youngest.
Are you? How many of you are
Well, not that I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest from my mum.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest from my mum. My dad had another kid after me.
Okay.
Because my mum passed away when I was 4.
Oh, I see.
So then I was just the last born
Right.
from my mum. So more or less, I'm still treated as the youngest
Okay.
in other ways, but like not in so much in other ways anyway. So I still have a younger brother.
You don't call him your stepbrother, do you?
No, it's
your
my
younger
brother.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
I mean, it's my brother. No, there's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not even
the
half.
DNA runs through.
Yeah.
For sure. Sure. So all 3 of you, your brother, you, and your sister came...
Oh no, there's more.
Oh wow.
My mum had 4 kids. You know?
Okay.
My mum had 4 kids. Actually, no, let me not even tell a lie. My mum had 5 kids. So you know what? It's very mad. Family. You know how family.
Yeah, I know.
You find out.
We know how
on there.
Nigerians are. Yeah.
But you know, you find out. But like, there's 5 of us. One, I've never met one of those brothers yet.
Really?
Never met him.
Okay.
So I have 3 brothers plus 1 which I've never met, and then I've obviously got my sister.
Right, gotcha. And your sister's killing it in the game as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
Does she inspire you? Who inspires you?
Do you know what? Who inspires me?
I mean, let's talk about your sister first and how she's killing it, but I'm curious to know who inspires you as well.
Yeah, my sister, really and truly, yeah, she's making too much money, man.
Oh, wow.
She's making too much. She goes on like she ain't making money. This girl's clicking too much money. Like, she's there catering for big corporate events.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? People like Uber, like Rubicon and all of that stuff.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like, no small companies, you know?
At all. I still remember the first time I tasted her, in fact, the first and the only time I tasted her goods. Is that weird to say goods? Her food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still salivate, and she's on point. What's her company?
So delicious.
Soul Delicious.
Yeah.
So SOUL.
SOUL. So delicious. You know, I don't even know the spelling.
Okay, don't worry, guys. We'll
spelled
it
with
so
it's so delicious with a Z.
Right.
With a Z, not a S.
Gotcha. No, she's killing it. So good shout out. But we're talking about inspiration because here's what I'm trying to join the dots with, and this is what I do with all my guests is I want to know how their background has influenced them to the profession and what it is they do. So from your perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is what I've got so far from you, Efe, is, you know, you're killing it or you're enjoying yourself in Niger, right? You don't want to come. All of a sudden you came and shit got real. And then, you know, you couldn't see yourself around, even though when I say around, I don't mean your nucleus and immediate environment, so your sisters, brothers and your parents, right? But you mean like in the form of media. But then how is that, if we're going to move forward, what's your next
the thing is, I wouldn't say that I
steps?
didn't see myself because one, I didn't even know what seeing yourself is meant.
Okay.
Yeah, at that time.
Yeah.
I was a young kid. You know what I mean? All I just wanted to do is play football.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So with that, like for me personally, I won't say I've not had it really easy when you come to this country. If I literally say my full story, trust me, we're gonna be here for a long time. Do you know what I mean?
Ben, I'm quite curious. When you say you haven't had it easy,
Okay.
give us a snippet at the very least.
let's say for instance, came to this country 9 years old. I ended up in care.
Okay.
Yeah, was from like 14, and then I stayed in care because my dad had to go back to Nigeria because my grandma was really sick.
All right.
And he had to look after my grandma and stuff. He left us, me and my sister, with one of his girlfriends to look after, and he was sending money like to look after us.
Right.
She didn't look after us at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. I remember we're young.
Yeah.
We're like, we just want to be doing our own thing in it. Like, you know what I mean? You know, like when you're like, your parents are gone in it. Like, you run wild in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously she wasn't looking after us. So me and my sister, we just left, went to go and live in my dad's house. And then from there, we was living by ourselves. And then when social services found out, I went into care. My sister, they split both of us up, which was not like, it was not a good idea.
No.
But because me and my sister were very close, like really close. They split both of us up, and they had me. I went to go and stay with one of my uncles, and then my sister. They actually give my sister her own place.
Okay. Oh, because she was 16.
16 at the time. At that time, they could still consider her as an adult.
Okay.
And for me, at that time, I used to run away from my uncles to go and stay with my sister.
Right, gotcha.
Because like that's
I
your
mean,
sibling.
you were bonded, yeah.
Yeah, it was very hard. And then I had to move away from my uncles because that was not a good place for me to be. So then I went into foster care. And then from foster care, I was staying with my auntie Zainab. But even when I was staying with her, I used to still run away to go and stay with my sister.
Right.
And then from there, obviously, a lot of things just like getting in trouble, you know what I mean, especially with the law and all that stuff, do you know what I mean? And it just like sort of went pear-shaped. Then my dad was having troubles coming back because like he had difficulties with his passport.
Okay.
And like at first I didn't know this at the time, like because I just thought that, where's this guy? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
But then he was having, because like his passport was lost, and at that time you had to prove that you've got your status here. And then it was difficult for him to do it.
So
you know,
when he finally came back?
in fact, I was pissed off. I just didn't want to know. I didn't want to hear from him his story. But you know, when you ask me that question, who inspires me, I would actually say my dad.
Okay.
Because of what he's been through. Because he lost a wife who he had 4 kids with, and the way he lost his wife was just because my mum died while giving birth.
Right, gotcha.
But I should have had another younger brother, but both of them just like died while giving birth. There was nothing really wrong with her pregnancy or anything. She had 4 kids. It should have been like plain sailing.
Yeah.
But it's something that my dad has not really gotten over. But just looking at when my dad explains a lot of things to me, like thinking that, damn, this guy's had a lot on his plate. And it made me think that, whoa, I look at him very differently. Because like one thing about my dad is that he goes on like he's tough. Like, do you know what I mean? You know, like in African friends, they're going like they're tough. Do like all that stuff, but he's such a soft guy, like so moist, you know. Because even if like, you know, if you're at one of my friends and you're one of my good friends and he says, oh uncle, I need money so I can go and study to do a doctor, and he'll be like, what do you mean you be a doctor? Yeah, I mean, why can't you have the money? But then obviously he would talk down to you, but then 2 months later he says, okay, here's the money. Do you know what I mean? Because he's that much of a caring guy. Yeah. You know, so if there's anyone I aspire to, is actually him, because he actually he's very caring.
Well, let's get into the professional context, if that's okay. University, education, what was that like for you?
Didn't go uni.
You didn't go uni?
Nah.
Right.
Nah.
So what was your jobs and what was your roles that amounted for you to become a founder of a podcast network?
You know what? I've done a series of things. Like I've played football. I played football for a long time, semi-pro.
Semi-pro, okay.
Yeah.
Is there money in that?
Yeah, there is money in that. Like, you know what I mean? When you're how can I say, a mercenary?
Smiling as well, do you know what I mean?
When you're a mercenary agent, do you know what I mean? You know, like, you know what I mean? You go where the money's at, innit? Do you know what I mean? You know, like, you just, like, obviously I did a lot of things, do you know what I'm saying? So like football wise and all that stuff. And
what position out of interest?
You know what? I literally played anywhere except up front. Don't put me. I can't score goals.
Can't score, no.
I can't score goals.
You ain't got the eye.
But, yeah, I ain't got the eye. But if it's to where the hustle and bustle is, I'm there, man. Trust me. You know, like I'm there for to put in the work. They used to call me. My nickname was M Bison.
M Bison. Oh, yeah, that's a bad boy nickname.
Yeah, I mean that's what they used to call me, man. Trust me, M Bison. Trust me, because no one could get it's very hard to get past me. Yeah.
But okay, so you played football, which was earning you some financial means.
Financial means as well, and plus I obviously worked at the disabled home as well when I was younger. So it's just like, you know what I mean, as a sports worker. I mean, I did that I was like, kind of like, I was earning 2 wages. From young, it's like, I never really had something for me to think that what my calling was or what I wanted to do, because I know I wanted to do something that would like lead my mark on this world. Like, you know, like I can actually do something that can help people as much as...
So what were you doing regarding that? Since that was your psyche, you wanted to make a difference,
do nothing about it.
A legacy.
I didn't do nothing.
Okay.
I didn't do nothing. I was just more times I was actually following other people's ideas.
Right.
And not
did that help shape you into this business? Like, did you get any key learnings, key skills?
Well, it didn't help me.
Oh, it didn't.
It didn't.
Okay.
It didn't. It's already been in me because I'm a hustle and bustle kind of guy. It's like I never was trained like professionally. I just know how to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even like one of my boys, Charlie, he put up a play in Bussy Building called Love Is Not Enough,
right.
And he needed someone to design the stage, and like. He just called me, Efe, can you do this for me, please? I have never designed no theatre stage before in my life. Yeah. And I actually built the stage and people was like, oh my God, this stage is sick. Right. It's like, are you trained professionally to do this? I'm like, no, I just do it, innit?
Yeah. Okay. So I get that, Efe. So help join the dots with the listeners. I'm hearing you tell me you've gone through, like I would actually admit a majority of my listeners also would have a similar story insofar as the hardship, you know, that you've been through. And at the other end, you're like, okay, now I actually want to start finding what my calling is. I want to actually have an imprint that is positive within this world, right? That's absolutely great. Question I asked you then is like, well, okay, Efe, what were you doing in order to do that? So you were like, nothing. But that's not true because you now have this platform. So help join that dot.
I had the idea, but I just didn't know how to...
What idea?
Build a media platform.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't know how I was going to enter it.
What was your first steps? Like, okay, you've got now this idea. I want to create a media platform. So why did you settle on podcast?
The thing is, I was working with my mate Quince at Roadworks Media. I wanted to do the podcast network with him. At that time, I was so knee deep into podcasting now. Right. And I was like, listen, this is the entry level into it. Do you know what I mean? Because one of the things that I actually wanted was I wanted like young people involved, yeah? And I wanted them pushing out the content that they want, not someone doing it for them or dictating to that how they should do it.
Right.
You know? So I wanted to create that space for them to come and actually express themselves.
Let's look at it from my audience perspective, right? They're like, oh, wow, so Efe's the founder of ShoutOut Network, right? That's now got those podcasters that I mentioned earlier on its books. And they're really all about giving voice to the underrepresented community. How do I do that?
Well, if you want to start, starting a podcast is not as easy as what everyone thinks that it is.
Yep.
It's easy in the sense of like, yeah, you only need something to record. If you like to record your voice, and then as long as you can upload it, you can do that. But the thing is that when you're doing a podcast, you're now a content creator, and that actual chore of creating content every week is not easy, you know. So doing one is not as easy as what people think it is. If you're doing it for yourself, that's fine. But if you want to actually do it to reach a lot of people, then you got to be thinking of things like how are you going to reach those people? You know what I mean? How are you going to market yourself? Because now everyone's doing podcasts. Some people's podcasts are popping. Some people's podcasts are not.
So from what I've gathered so far, because you're telling me about promo marketing, but you're saying insofar as how to do it, all you need is a tape recorder.
Yeah.
Record and upload. It's just that simple.
It's easy like that. But the thing is, when you do that, bear in mind that your audio is not going to sound the greatest.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not going to sound...
So regarding audio, what is a good audio and what should one consider? I'm only saying it because at the end of the day, I think it's a rare opportunity, and I really relish when I speak to my guests who are in different verticals, you know, different professionals, for them to just give me so much tools, resources, as well as advice, right, that I can walk away after listening to it and going, yeah, that's what I need. That's what I can do. It might not necessarily work out the way I want it to, but at least I know a route.
Okay, for me, I'm going to give advice based on what I do.
What you do, yeah, for sure.
What I do.
Of course.
When it comes to audio, I'm not trained in audio. I learned everything myself.
How?
YouTube, innit?
YouTube,
like reading, Like, and just going out and asking questions. I just like went to people and like was asking questions. I had an engineer when we first ShoutOut Network. I was hiring an engineer to do a lot of recording for us, and then I used to watch him as well. Do you know what I mean? And I used to ask a lot of questions because if I'm gonna pay you to do something, I'm gonna learn on top of that because I'm not gonna be paying you for long.
Right.
That's just how I operate. So I like literally learned a lot of the things myself. Like for instance, audio wise, knowing that how you need to capture audio voice. Do you know what I'm saying?
How?
You know?
What do you
Like I always do think that, you know, capture at the loudest. After reading up on things, it's like, oh no, but the reason why it sounds like because of post editing.
Yes.
Or what sort of types of mic that you use. That you got different types of mics. You got dynamic mics. You got condenser mics. And the first mic that I bought was condenser mics.
Okay.
And what's
the difference?
Condenser mics, literally, they can be turned up to the point where it's like you can hear the next woman next door literally having a conversation.
With a condenser mic?
Yeah, literally picks up through walls.
Oh, okay. And
if place is not soundproof,
yeah,
you can pick up so much.
Okay. And that's what you bought initially?
Yeah, but initially, and I didn't need that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you bought a dynamic, which is what we're using now, is it?
Yeah, we're using dynamic mics. And from there, I was able to get the best sound where we are right now, because we can get better sound, but that means me noise proofing the house, and like Imri's not going to have that.
Guys, Imri once again is Efe's partner in crime in all sense of the word.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get it. So equipment, we've spoken about that. You're talking about post production. What software? What tools?
I use Audition. At first, I was using Logic.
Okay.
But one thing I would say is that to anyone that's using Logic, you should stop using Logic.
Why?
Because you lose audio.
You do?
Yeah, sometimes I've lost audio. I've recorded a whole episode, and then as soon as when I've pressed save, it just disappeared, and I just didn't know what was going on.
I'm sure it's not the software's fault.
No, but it did that a few times. It did that a few times.
Okay.
Like it happened about 3 or 4 times.
Oh, okay.
And
I was okay.
No, I thought it was a magic trick.
Yeah.
It literally, like for me, I don't even know if it was, but there was something that was just going wrong. The audio just kept disappearing, and I couldn't find it. Like I literally surfed the whole hard drive. I couldn't find it.
Right.
So like that's
why you then switched up
I've
to
switched
Adobe
to
Auditions.
Adobe Auditions, and I've not had the same problem ever since.
So would you recommend, and anyone who is starting, to always know how to do all forms of the process? So first and foremost, get the right equipment. Ensure that the content, depending on their format, it could be daily, could be weekly, could be fortnightly or monthly, whatever, right? But it's good, because the audio you've got, as in the equipment you've bought, is of quality.
Yeah.
And then the post-production, you're like, okay, well, use not Logic, because obviously you're going to lose your audio.
Yeah.
Instead of use Auditions potentially.
Yeah.
That's what you use anyway.
If I use Adobe Auditions, I can go back and edit with Logic.
Yes, and of course.
I can do that because I know the file will still always be at Logic. Like, do you know what I mean?
So we're speaking about basically how to start insofar as getting a podcast up and running, right? And then we haven't really spoken about the best practices for promotion and marketing, but I think we'll leave that another day. What I want to almost know that I'm interested in personally, and guys, again, if you're not interested in what I'm asking, then get at me, man. I always tell you guys, get at me.
Yeah, man. At him, man. At him.
At me. I need to be accountable. I need to ensure that I'm giving you the best quality content. But how do you sustain yourself? Because finances has to surely be on the radar.
Me and Imri, we finance the network ourselves. And it is literally a lot. But one thing I would say to that is that you have to be willing to invest in yourself.
Right.
For you to get somewhere.
You can invest in yourself, but how do you sustain? Do you know? Like, okay, you've got the equipment, which I get. It's here.
Oh, you
it's
mean
not
like?
going
Oh, you mean like how we generate money?
Yeah, like what are your revenue streams?
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, mainly we're looking at ways of like gaining revenue from advertising as well.
Okay, advertising.
You know what I mean? Advertising, putting things like live shows and so forth.
Right.
But for me, it's like I didn't make ShoutOut Network for me to make money.
Okay.
Because I know, like for instance, ShoutOut Network will open other doors for me, other places.
Right.
I've seen it actually happen, like literally opening doors.
But isn't it taking away from your mountain, which is
no? Because the thing is, we're not just going to stop at podcasting. I'm thinking of other things as well. It's like where I'm trying to build ShoutOut Network. It's not just everyone coming to do a podcast. It's actual media company. But then the content that is pushing towards, it's something that's talking to the young people and they're dictating the content.
You want young people to come to you and pretty much run ShoutOut Network.
That's what.
So it's almost, again, because I do have listeners, as you know, right? It's one of those that anyone who's out there who really is thinking about what is that call to action?
Yeah.
Throw it out there, yeah.
If you want to know what it's like to run a company, come to us. Can't pay you, but you're going to get the experience.
Okay.
Like,
experience doing what?
Like actually running a company, because we get a lot of pitches from people who want to do a podcast.
Right.
But we only get maybe like 5% or even maybe it's less than that of people actually want to know how it's run behind the scenes.
Is there anything that you feel like I haven't asked you? Because you said that, if people do want to know about behind the scenes and how to actually run a company, what's the advice or advices that you would?
For me personally, it's like, as young people, if you have an idea of doing something, if you haven't got the money to do it, get your boys or your people around you. Do you know what I mean? If you believe in it, you got to start it. For me personally, I have like friends and family that have actually invested in us. I would say that they invest in us because of what I'm actually doing. Do you know what I mean? When you ask for
How
it.
long are you guys? How old are you guys?
Me, I'm like.
No, not your actual age. I'm saying how old is ShoutOut Network? I can't believe my man thought I was asking about his age.
I'm still fine, but hey, no pimples. No. ShoutOut Network is about coming to 3 years.
Okay,
it's coming to 3 years, but from a podcast coming out, like I think it's coming to 2 years.
Right. Apologies, I derailed you. Your advice is just basically start, and then if it's a funding situation, you get your friends and family to help you with that. Get friends or family, but then you also got to be able to invest in yourself. Yeah.
And very much like really invest, because if you believe in something, you're going to have to go just having one trainers for the whole year. I went from one point where I used to buy trainers like every month to the point where now I'll buy a trainer like once every year or so. Like, but the thing is, because now that I don't do that, it's like the money that I've actually saved to actually put it into something that could be much more fruitful in the longer run.
I get that. So I do want to wrap up, but I feel like we've pretty much neglected quite a big situation, which is on August the 5th.
It's festival, innit?
Yeah, you've got the very first ever People of Colour. Is that fair to say? Yeah. Or is that not how you tagging it?
Well, you know what?
Because there have been podcast festivals prior to yours, so you're not the first.
We're not the first podcast festival, but one of the things is it's a first podcast festival literally for people of color.
So that's what I'm saying. Is that how you tag it?
It's for people. Yeah, it's for people of color. You know what? I'm gonna own that. Yeah, it's for people of color. Damn, I'm like I want to show like the greatness of like black people in one room.
Yeah, well, not just black people,
people of color. To be
black
fair.
and brown and whatever.
Yeah,
color,
do you know what I mean? Because
so let's talk about that if that's okay. For the first time ever, you're going to do something really quite large scale, which is to do a podcast festival for people of color. But let me not do it disservice. I think you're actually the best person to help speak about it, as well as how you put it together. And
I'm like the best person to speak about it, but I'm also the worst person to speak about it.
Okay.
Like for me, we had the first ShoutOut Network podcast of all our shows. Right. You didn't come to that one. Do you know what I mean? You know?
Wow, man. You
know what I mean? Yeah, I'm airing you. You get me?
I'm sure the way my bank account was set up. I might have not.
Like, you didn't come on it, but I know. But you came to our rooftop party, though. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I'll try to always come to it if I can.
No, but that's cool. But we had the first ShoutOut event, which was last year, August, and I just had the idea like, this is sick. Like, we should just do a podcast festival. Do you know what I mean? And then, like, at the time when we was planning it, they had a London podcast festival.
In King's Cross, right?
King's Cross. And I was like, right, that's like, and I was thinking, cool. And I went, somebody just told me, like, why didn't I know about this? Like, we're in this realm where we've got like 5 shows at the time. Not that they're saying like they should have approached us, but in something just like, they shouldn't have approached us, but I should have been aware of it. So now I looked at the lineup and they called it London Podcast Festival. And I looked at it and I'm thinking, so is it only white people that do podcasts in London?
Right.
Literally, that's how it was for me. Like I looked at it, I was thinking, wow, it's just I'm just gonna say it was a complete white lineup of just podcasts, and I thought like, whoa, they just ignored us.
Right.
And it's something that I've seen a lot of the times. You would get ignored. That's in media in itself. showing it to its true form. You know, like when it comes to showing black people, you won't, like in certain light, they won't do it. So that's when I thought, you know what, I'm going to make this podcast festival. I'm just going to make a people of color. Yeah. I'm going to make a dope one. That's when it came to the idea. And obviously at the time when I was planning it, I had 3 podcasts, which I actually wanted: The Friend Zone, Another Round, and Brilliant Idiots. Now, when I had those 3 that I wanted to get, I thought, you know what, I only might get 1 in it. You know what I mean? Because I was dreaming big. Yeah. I was thinking, you know, I'm only going to get 1 in it. But you know what I mean? I'm just that guy that's hustle and bustle.
No doubt.
I managed to get all 3.
Amazing.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, now I got to plan this shit now. Yeah. So it's like, really and truly.
So the initial conversation was like, you asked him,
I just swore in it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, You've done it a couple of times, but no worries.
I'm just that guy in it.
No worries. I mean,
edit it out,
it's going to be explicit, this version as well, so don't sweat it. But your initial conversation with these podcasters or the agencies or the networks that represent them was, I'm thinking about doing a podcast festival. Are you interested? Is that how you pretty much sold it?
Way I approached it is like, obviously I told certain podcasts, like, you know, I'm doing this podcast festival, do you want to be part of it, and so forth. There's a lot of people, they knew what we're trying to do, so they just bought into the idea because of what our network stands for. So they said, yeah, they'll be down to do it with us.
Is that including your 3 headliners?
No, they didn't know the 3 headliners at the time.
No, I understand that. My point is, so you've got the Brilliant Idiots, you've got Another Round of the Friend Zone.
Yeah.
How did you approach them?
Like through email, innit?
So it's email, and you just emailed them and just said, hey, we're looking to do this podcast festival. Would you be interested?
Yeah, would you be interested? And obviously, you know,
a little bit about yourself, the background.
A bit about myself. And obviously, at some point, when you are approaching people, you need to be credible in certain ways as well, because it's sometimes it's like, if you approach someone to do something, someone that's actually established, they'll look at you and they're thinking, am I going to do something with you? Because if you're not, if I can't search for you online or search for your company and see where you are, because with us, we're very Googleable. Right? Is that a word to use?
Yeah, you could Google you. Yeah, but I don't think Googleable is.
Googleable. It's not a word, is it?
No, I don't think that is.
No, here I am making up words, isn't it? But yeah, we're very. You can Google us. Yeah. You can Google us because we've been covered by a lot of press and stuff. So we're actually credible in that sort of sort of like, we're very visible. So, and that's credit to Imri for that, because like she understands the importance of that. Me, I didn't really, all of the how we look or how we're seen, that's all down to Imri. This is
I get
it's
that.
professional.
So you emailed them and they saw the fact that they could Google, they were like, okay, you guys actually are serious.
Yeah, they saw what we stand for and what we're looking to do, and they actually bought into the ideas, which is how they agreed to actually do with us.
Because it's people of color, but it's not specific UK, because you bought 3 headliners from the US.
Yeah.
Have you had any pushback from that?
The thing is, it's some people have literally said, oh, so why are you bringing them? And I'm like, well, one thing about us being raised in the UK, it's like, when we consume content, we're so much consuming content from America than consuming content from locally.
Okay.
And one of the things what I'm trying to use is that to use them, which will now bring in, basically when they come in, because like the people that literally listen to their content from America are going to come in to the festival knowing full well that when they come to the festival that there's going to be other shows there.
Yeah.
So to use that to thinking, oh, like Blacticulate's there. Do you know what I mean? Seriously, you know, and he does this kind of type of podcast. 90s babies are there. Oh my gosh, these guys are sick. Do you know what I'm saying? You know? And then you got like people like Pink Matter, Mostly Lit, and Men in the Millennials. They were like, wow, like I didn't know this other podcast was around. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes people, they literally wasn't aware that there's other black people doing podcasts. I literally see the tweets sometimes, even on Blacticulate. Is there any other black British podcast? And then people start like relating them and telling people, oh no, these ones does it. And that is great. You know? No,
agreed. Totally agreed. Okay, so you just approached them via email and they bought into it and they were like, yep, so we'll definitely be there. And then the rest is now...
Plus I spoke to them on the phone as well.
Okay, gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? So that's when I had to spit some lyrics.
British charm, eh?
Do you know what? Yeah, I think this is just something that I have. It's like... I know how to talk people to obviously, for me getting what I want. I know how to seal a deal.
So what are the challenges?
The challenges is not easy.
No, it's not. Of course, it's not easy.
It's not easy, and it's like there's so many things that would just dishearten you from what you're doing.
Right. So, like, what are the challenges though?
There's so many challenges. Like let's just say, for instance, like there's just so like, not that I would want to speak about it on air, but like there is.
No, you don't have to name specifics, but
Yeah.
I just think it's important from an audience perspective to know that this isn't just all smooth sailing.
Like I would say working with people is not the easiest, but you know what? You just have to do it. Do you know what I mean? Seriously, it's hard work. There's so much I can say, but for me, I don't know how to say it because I will have to provide more content to it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
I guess so. Finding a venue, particularly central one, which is amazing, Russell Square. I don't know if that was a challenge in itself.
It wasn't a challenge because I've been there before because I went and watched the read there.
Right, gotcha.
And then obviously when we looked at there, and then we saw the other rooms as well.
And they weren't offended or averse to you using their space for podcast festival. Yeah.
No, like
okay, because so you can selling to have the money, you can
we're hiring it.
Yeah,
like
they'll sell to anything.
Not that they will sell to anything. Well, obviously, like they knew we had to tell them what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then when they looked at it, and I think, okay, cool, then you can do it.
Okay, cool.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like hiring a venue.
Yeah. So venue was all good insofar as when it comes down to getting the talent. I can imagine the nuances and challenges.
Yeah.
Was there anyone that just was outright and go, no? I'm not saying you should name them, shame them, but were there people that go, nah?
Boy, there's like, let's just say, for instance, I would say this: we approached everybody.
Oh, okay.
In the UK, like
right.
people of color, we approached all of them.
Okay.
Near enough to all of them. We put a blast out as well, like to anyone to apply if you want to be a part of it. Literally, we had like over 50 applications.
Right.
I would love to include everybody.
Yeah, but timings obviously doesn't.
I couldn't actually include everyone.
So, what was your criteria of having this program? Like,
criteria?
Since there's 50 people, or 50 rather, podcasters that have applied.
Yeah.
Am I correct in saying what is it? Only 10 that would be showcasing?
No, this about 10. Yeah,
yeah,
about
around 10. Right.
Yeah. Basically, I've picked them based on like the content that all different.
Right.
That's in that same, like I've actually, because I've listened to all of them.
Right.
And I've picked them in a way that, you know what, they're all providing different types of content on the day. But remember, one thing is as well, it's like, I'm trying not to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But at some point, I might make mistakes.
Of course.
But it's all a learning curve.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like that the goal, what we're trying to do, is it's a lot bigger than the actual festival. Because now we're showcasing in a way that to major platforms, when they start looking at marginalized groups, like, you know what? When we're creating content, we need to think about them as well. Like, it's not good for business.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that. So, venue, blessed, not necessarily a challenge, talent, and, you know, the prerequisite and criteria you tried to include and make sure it's as diverse range as possible, the program. Insofar as the promo, sales, marketing, tickets, challenge.
There's so
sponsors.
Many sponsors is one of those things. It's like getting sponsors on board. Yeah, we oh my God, I got to like shout out Acast.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because Acast, we told them what we were gonna do. They saw what we was gonna do. They was like, yeah, this is dope. Can we sponsor this? Like, do you know what I mean? And they jumped on board real quick.
Amazing.
And I gotta give them credit because like they didn't even know Brilliant Idiots. And when we told them that Brilliant Idiots, were like, really? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They was like, what? I said, they was like, how did you manage to do that?
Yeah.
And I was like, I just asked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't ask, you don't get.
That is.
Do you know what I mean? So
that's the essence.
I always listen. Everyone that I say, if anyone's listening to this, if you do not ask, you do not get. Do not shy away. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Because that's one thing I've never been afraid of. I don't care who you are. If you're Jay-Z, Beyonce, wherever it is. If I see Beyonce today, I'll be like, Beyonce, can you come on Millennials?
Yeah.
I will literally ask
twin
her.
babies.
Yeah, I'll be like, you know what, can you bring them? Like, I will literally ask her, can you do that? Or can you come on Mostly Lit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I will literally ask because that's how brave I am. I'm not shy in certain ways. I will literally, because if you do not ask, you won't.
That's
you won't.
100%.
You know what I mean? You won't be given. Like, simple as that.
100%.
You know.
So forgive me. Can we wrap it up, or is there anything that you wanna?
Oh no, this good. Yeah, we can wrap it up. We can do a part 2 later.
So for all my guests, I normally end with light fire questions, and so you ready?
Go on.
If you could do a TED Talks, right, on anything other than your profession, which is obviously being a founder of a media platform, what would it be on?
Basically, how I got to ShoutOut Network from 9 years old to now.
Yeah, but guess what? Like, you've already said that in this
No,
podcast.
I'm
saying on your TED Talks, it has to be everything but that.
No, but the thing is, there's a big chunk in the middle that
so you've missed a big chunk.
Yeah.
Why?
I purposely missed it.
This guy thinks, I don't know who he thinks he is, trying to tease the audience like that.
I'm just like, because I don't know if Imre's told you that my story is actually very credible. Like, it's so compelling. It really is. Like,
then why did you hold back?
Because I'm not ready yet. I'm just not ready yet.
You're the one that approached me after I've been trying to get
but I
you. You're like,
you.
you know what? You're like, Adek, let's do a podcast.
No, but I get, because like, obviously, because I know, because I want to give you something in it. But
this guy,
I'll give you
I
something.
just want to give you something.
I'll give you something. But the thing is, like, those that know me, like those that really know me, they actually, the thing is, like, even my boys, like my boy Femi, aka Daddy Don. You know what I mean?
Shout out.
He literally tells me all the time that he's very proud of me.
Whenever you're ready to say that story, there's always a mic with Blacticulate, so look forward to that. So no, that's not a response that I'm going to accept with a TED Talk. So I'll give you a couple more then. So.
No, because the thing is, because the reason why I say the TED Talk is like, it would be from when I was 9 years old to like now. It would literally be like chopping from bits and pieces.
But with TED Talks, it's what talks that inspire ideas worth sharing, right? So I'm just curious to know what the idea you'd have that was worth sharing.
The idea is like, basically, I would say, is whatever it is that you have in you when you're young, try to harness that real quick.
So if you had your last £5, what are you spending it on?
£5.
Yeah.
Rah. Jam tarts.
Jam tarts, yeah?
Yeah. I used to survive on that when I was and I used to be in a hostel.
Jam tarts, yeah?
Yeah, jam tarts. Oh, they literally, oh God, the Sainsbury's ones. They used to like, they used to make, they used to.
Hey, my man's salivating right now as he sprays it.
I used to live on those, you know. So like,
jam
do you know what I mean? When man was broke.
Okay. So, and this is a new one that I normally throw out here because, you know, it's Blacticulate, Black Action Articulate. What is the one word that you don't like in the English language?
The English language?
Yeah.
Urban.
You don't like the word urban? Yeah. It just irks you?
Don't like it.
Why?
Because it's just, because when I understood it, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, interesting.
I never understood it before.
Interesting. Okay, so do you believe you're a success?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I think success is, I am on a successful train, but like I'm constantly achieving things, but not like success is final for me.
Interesting.
So I don't know.
Success is a journey for me, never final. But I'm with you in that. So how can my audience reach you?
Can't reach me.
And if they do,
they can't reach me. They can't reach me. They can't at me.
My man just literally like, fam, you're founder of a network, a platform. Why? I'm not talking about you then, specifically, Efe. Why not about at ShoutOut Network?
You can. You can.
Do you know what I mean? Like, my man,
but you're not getting me. Yeah.
I don't know who's behind your socials. I don't know, but fundamentally is.
Yeah, I got access to all of them.
Okay, well, how can people reach you?
Okay.
Or rather, reach your brand, your platform. What do you want them to do when they do reach you? And I assume also you definitely want them to come and check out the festival on August the 5th.
Listen.
So first and foremost, how can they reach you?
Okay. How they can reach me is, you can't reach me. Yeah. Direct. Yeah. Or if you want to reach me, like,
this guy, you've not made it easy.
I'm not going to make it easy because I'm that guy, innit?
You're that guy. No, you're definitely that guy.
I've got to be true to myself.
Okay.
I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah, fair.
I'm not on, actually,
LinkedIn.
I am on LinkedIn, but I don't really use it. Do you know what I mean? I'm on LinkedIn. I got Facebook. I don't use it.
But emails, say for instance, that there might be an opportunity for you.
Oh, just email ShoutOut Network.
Okay.
admin@shoutoutnetwork.co.uk.
So we found out how we can get in touch with you. We found out what you want us to do, pitch ideas. I assume also you might want potentially people from behind the scenes if they're interested.
Of course. The thing is, people from more behind the scenes are so important. I need a lot of you.
Okay.
And anyone that wants to get some sort of experience, like recording, editing, if you think you got a dope show, wherever it is that you want to do, please get in touch with me. Do you know what I mean? Seriously, because I'm open to ideas. I am not a closed chapter. Do you know what I mean?
Hey guys, We really appreciate you listening, and if you have any feedback, please leave it in the comment section below. Also, all the info about the guests, the links and the resources we speak about will be in the description below. And last but not least, please do get in touch if you can teach us how you do what it is you do. Because after all, Blacticulate is all about empowering and upskilling the community. Thanks guys, you're the best. See you soon.